Because antibiotics lose their effectiveness over time, their usage is generally considered to be a last resort. Indeed, as a consequence of our reliance on them, diseases are becoming more drug-resistant. But although this is a worrying concept, there is actually a natural household solution that might just be a game-changer. General scientific consensus states that bacteria are the oldest forms of life on Earth, here long before humans. The progenitors of modern bacteria are said to have first appeared some 4 billion years ago. And yet after all this time, bacteria are still here, and some even help us humans. Our bodies are apparently filled with roughly 39 trillion bacteria, the bulk of which live in our gastrointestinal tracts. Experts refer to them as gut flora, and in many cases they help with digestion. They help us metabolize substances and create vitamins or useful acids. Other types of bacteria live on the skin. The damaging impact of certain bacteria is nullified by our body's immune system. But on the other hand, this isn't always the case. Some can prove very harmful to humans if they're virulent enough, creating all kinds of diseases and health problems. These can sometimes even prove to be fatal. Take the infamous bubonic plague, for example, which was responsible for approximately 50 million deaths back in the 14th century. Even today, another bacterial infection known as tuberculosis claims around 2 million lives a year. And in addition, there's the added threat from anthrax, pneumonia, respiratory infections and more besides. But antibiotics can treat such infections by slowing the growth of bacteria or destroying them entirely. Historical evidence indicates that several of the more advanced ancient civilizations, such as Rome, Egypt and Greece, used them. Medical practitioners often cultivated their antibiotics from bread mold and applied it directly to the skin. Sir Alexander Fleming revolutionized antibiotics with his 1928 penicillin discovery. He developed its marketable use with the help of his peers. Soon the drug was available on a much larger scale, but this came with its own problems. Namely, as a consequence of people overusing antibiotics, their effectiveness against infections was compromised. According to the Center for Disease Control, CDC, medical professionals have in recent times tended to overprescribe antibiotics. In fact, in 2016 the group stated in the Journal of the American Medical Association that no less than 30% of antibiotic prescriptions are unnecessary. It seems that in some cases they are even being used to treat non-bacterial conditions. The dreaded cold and flu are instances where people may want a magic pill to quell their symptoms. But these illnesses are viral rather than bacterial, which makes any attempt to treat them with antibiotics fruitless. Furthermore, it gives illnesses more opportunity to build up a resistance against drugs. National Geographic interviewed Tufts University School of Medicine's Stuart Levy about these resistant illnesses, or superbugs, in 2014. The bacteria have acquired the ability to destroy the antibiotic in order to protect themselves, Levy said. They've developed a gene for resistance to, say, penicillin, and that gene protects them. A genetic mutation might enable a bacteria to produce enzymes that inactivate antibiotics, Levy continued. Or, a mutation might eliminate the target that the antibiotic is supposed to attack. A bacteria may have developed resistance to 5 or 6 antibiotics, so in treatment you don't know which one to choose. And the bacteria accumulate resistance by developing new genes, Levy elaborated. Genetics is working against us, almost like a science fiction story. However, the general public are ingesting antibiotics unintentionally too. Many people in the meat industry are feeding antimicrobials to their livestock as a method of growth enhancement. This is a big issue, Levy explained. About 80% of antibiotics manufactured are given to beef cattle, chickens and hogs to help them grow better and put on more weight. They excrete them and the antibiotics largely are not broken down. They enter the environment, the ground and the water, and retain their ability to affect bacteria and promote antibiotic resistance. There are some powerful antibiotics in nature, however, and these can sometimes be easy to get hold of, with some apparently bypassing the resistance of mutated bacteria. And so as a result of the current superbug crisis, Some researchers are looking into these herbal remedies as a potential alternative. Other cultures have recognized the potential of natural remedies for a long time. Take echinacea for example, a plant which Native Americans have used to treat wounds and manage infections. It's also thought to reduce inflammation and help with colds and flu, and so it's ingested to treat such viruses. Science has also delved into the intriguing medicinal properties of Zingiber officinale, otherwise known as ginger. Experts widely acknowledge its root as an herbal antibiotic, and research has proven this to be true. It can be effective in powdered and dried forms as an essential oil or when consumed as a cooking ingredient. Golden seal is another herb which can be drunk in a tea or taken in tablet form. Because it contains the alkaloid berberine, it's particularly effective on the stomach, urinary tract and skin. In addition, recent lab tests have shown that the plant can combat the methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, MRSA bacteria. There are many other natural antimicrobials, but lately a couple of them have gained wider attention as an effective combination. Honey and turmeric, for instance, are quickly becoming a dream team in the fight against increasing antibiotic resistance. Both of these ingredients are highly useful on their own, but together they create something remarkable. The end result is called golden honey, and the world of medicine has shown a great deal of interest in it. Honey, the byproduct of nectar collection from insects such as bees, is a renowned antibacterial. Historians have found evidence that the ancient Egyptians used it thousands of years ago. Older cultures used honey's medicinal properties to treat wounds and internal troubles. Until recent lab tests, though, modern mainstream science hasn't paid too much attention to its unique properties. But now we're discovering that the perfect solution to our superbug problem may have been under our noses all along. The second ingredient in golden honey is turmeric. This is a plant which is genetically related to ginger and becomes a yellow-orange color in powder form. Like honey, it's an ingredient which has been used as a medicine for millennia, particularly in India and China. It contains curcumin, which can potentially provide significant benefits. Unfortunately, turmeric only has trace amounts of curcumin and the body doesn't absorb it very well. And its beneficial effects on health have proven difficult to quantify. That is, until Imperial College London found something interesting in 2018. After experimenting on rats using curcumin eye drops, they noted results which proved potentially enlightening. We used nanotechnology, a professor of ophthalmology named Dr. Francesca Cardero told CNN in 2018. The advantage of curcumin being so small is it can cross into the eye as an eye drop into the back of the eye. Once it enters, it can affect the nerve cells there, and that direct effect can lead to them not dying. It's what we call neuroprotection. Apparently, the experiment showed that curcumin reduced the treated rat's retinal cell degradation by 23%. But what happens when you mix turmeric with honey, and why is it so special? A 2009 study performed by the University of Sydney's School of Molecular and Microbial Biosciences might just answer that question. Most bacteria that cause infections in hospitals are resistant to at least one antibiotic, D. Carter, an associate professor at the school, explained. And there is an urgent need for new ways to treat and control surface infections. New antibiotics tend to have short shelf lives, as the bacteria they attack quickly become resistant. Carter continued, many large pharmaceutical companies have abandoned antibiotic production because of the difficulty of recovering costs. Developing effective alternatives could therefore save many lives. Our research is the first to clearly show that these honey-based products could in many cases replace antibiotic creams on wounds and equipment such as catheters. We don't quite know how these honeys prevent and kill infections, Carter said. But a compound in them called methylglyoxal seems to interact with a number of other unknown compounds in honey to prevent infectious bacteria developing new strains that are resistant to it. Add turmeric and you then have something even more special. Website Turmeric for Health has elaborated on this point with reference to a medical tradition known as Ayurveda. A study has shown that an Ayurvedic medicine containing turmeric and honey as two of the active ingredients stimulated the production and functionality of immune cells, the site stated. And thus, it could result in improved immunity against diseases. The ingredients for golden honey are easy to obtain, indeed, you may already have them handy in your kitchen. All you need is 3.5 ounces of honey and 0.5 ounces of powdered turmeric. Put both of these in a glass jar and stir the mixture with a wooden spoon. Some people also suggest adding a pinch of black pepper to aid with turmeric absorption. Once your golden honey is mixed well, leave it alone for a night to build its concentration. And that's it. Your new antimicrobial is ready to go and you can start taking it on a daily basis. The YouTube channel Natural Cures recommends taking a spoonful every day before breakfast. If you don't want to take it as is, just add the daily amount to a half cup of warm water. However, you can also take up to 3 spoonfuls a day if you feel unwell. It's worth being aware of some stipulations, though. When you make golden honey, try to use the best organic ingredients to make the most of its properties. Allegedly, unscrupulous sources will market counterfeit turmeric to turn a quick profit, so only purchase ingredients from reputable sellers. You also need to keep your current health problems in mind too. Natural Cures warns against using golden honey if you have liver or gallbladder conditions. And as with any home remedy, be sure to clear it with a medical practitioner before trying. But so far, the Herbal Remedy channel's video has received many people thankful for the golden honey recipe, and a couple of people also offered some extra hints and tips in the comments section. I just started golden milk a couple weeks ago for toe arthritis, one person wrote. I add turmeric, honey, dash of pepper to any milk and warm it. It's extremely delicious and effective, the commenter added. My toes don't have much pain at all only after a short time on this drink. Another person described how they use golden honey to supplement another home remedy. I'm dealing with Lyme disease, they explained. When I made my own colloidal silver I started to feel a difference. I take it periodically, this person continued. I use it in between turmeric and honey. Natural Cures video explains in more detail exactly how golden honey helps to fight bacterial infections. Honey is rich in antioxidants and essential vitamins, it reveals, going on to mention honey's natural healing qualities. The honey fights against the negative effects of free radicals against the cells, strengthening the tissue and increasing the number of antibodies, the channel said. Furthermore, its anti-inflammatory effect is widely known because it helps reduce mucus in the airways. That means golden honey may help with cold and flu symptoms too. Meanwhile, Natural Cures explains what makes the turmeric ingredient so effective in certain cases of ill health. Its characteristic color comes from curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory and natural painkiller, the channel wrote. Curcumin balances inflammation in our tissue, destroys harmful pathogens and creates a protective barrier against the agents that cause infections. To maintain a lasting effect, many people incorporate golden honey into their diets to strengthen their immune system, Natural Cures added. However, it can also be used periodically as a natural anti-inflammatory to treat infections. It's amazing to think that something natural could prove superior to advancements in modern science and medicine. Hopefully with this knowledge, we will see an end to the ever-increasing amount of so-called superbugs. Indeed, this a notion encouraged by Natural Cures. Now that you have learned how to use turmeric as a natural anti-inflammatory, the channel has said, take advantage of this ingredient to improve your quality of life and your family's health.